welcome back, good people, to another episode of Song of the Week. We're still out here in California. I am in the guest bedroom of the Grunfeld estate here in Los Angeles, California, here to record another episode of Song of the Week. My guy Dave, what's happening?
I mean, the estate is very, very
That's
generous.
right, the Grunfeld estate.
Very generous, but also very lovely to have you here at our home, Jordan, as always. And excited to be back for another episode of Song of the Week to talk about what we've been listening to. I think really by ourselves together. We've been listening to a little bit of music when you've been here, kind of together. I've been playing some I've been kind of on like a Freddie Gibbs and Griselda kind of like kick. So I've been playing a little bit of that as we've been like driving around and stuff. But I think today we're going to talk about what we've been getting into solo outside of that.
Correct. Yeah, I've been listening to my my algorithm has La Russell a lot again right now. La Russell's not my song of the week, but there's been a lot of La Russell Velour, the album Velour that I loved.
Your favorite?
Yeah, my favorite La Russell album for sure. Shouts out to Russ. But yeah, there's been some of that. I think we'll probably hear some more music tonight. We're going out tonight. Also, we made it to today, so we didn't rip it up too hard last night, as we said we might.
That's true. That's an understatement. A little behind the scenes. Maybe this is for the Patreon. Jordan and I drank a bottle of wine. We split a bottle of wine like we were in college, and we watched football, and we're both asleep by 9:30 p.m. I want to say latest. Like it was the opposite of a late night. So tonight we're gonna go out and see what's popping. It's gonna be fun.
Honestly, it was a great night. I was thinking about it last night as we were sitting on the couch after we had decided to order dinner and not go anywhere and just chill.
Yes.
I used to complain all the time. So in the summer, I would go to Atlanta with my dad and just like we would just hang out at his sister's place and do nothing for an entire week. Like we would just hang out there. And it used to drive me nuts because I was like, why would we come all the way out here to just not do anything? And as I got older, I realized like my dad just wants to go hang out with his sister. Like he doesn't want to do a whole lot. And last night, as I was sitting there on the couch, really satisfied with doing nothing, I was like, I kind of wanted to just come to LA and hang out with my brother. That's all I really needed.
And that's really what it's all about. And and LA and the residents, I can't call it an estate. That's ridiculous. But our place,
tomato.
Yeah, well, our place is always welcome to you, brother. You know that. So it's been lovely having you here. And yeah, I think I'm going to dive in. Unless you want to start, I'm happy to go first this time.
Before we dive in, do you want to revisit your LA top 5 list?
Oh, thank you.
Are you comfortable with it?
No, I don't necessarily need to revisit it. And if depending on what order things come out here, just for some context, on one of our other songs of the week, Jordan had asked me who my LA top 5 rappers of all time were, which is a big question. I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, lifelong hip hop fan. It's a eclectic and deep history of hip hop in the city. I don't think I want to revisit. I think when we got off, Jordan, I did say like 5 minutes after we stopped recording that I had forgotten Mac 10. Mac 10 is a LA legend without a doubt. When I was kind of talking about Ice Cube and West Side Connection, should have mentioned him. And then not a rapper, but someone who I've called out for Song of the Week before. I've picked for Song of the Week before, and is just an absolute all-timer. Nate Dogg, R.I.P. Yeah. He's not a rapper, which is why he didn't like come to mind, at first. And now that we're talking about it, like Warren G, there's a lot of guys from that era that made a huge impact. If you're going to talk about DJ, talk about DJ Quick, who like is a rapper, but really was like, he's a producer, he's a personality, he's just such a force in LA culture. So there's tons of people, so I wanted to just follow up, not to necessarily nitpick the however many 5, 6 or 7 names that I put out, but just to say LA is the greatest, and the LA hip hop scene and what it's been able to produce currently in the current swing and of talent that is coming through the city and historically is it's part of the reason why I'm so proud to be from here and live here. So thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
But that is my addendum to the question that you asked me about top 5 LA people.
I'm gonna put you on the spot one more time.
Oh, here we go.
So for those who are fans of the channel at this point, they've seen you and I on Reboot,
Yeah.
right? Which is our
Yeah.
movie podcast. Can you give me a top 5 LA movies?
Ooh, oh, that's very difficult. It's harder. That's even harder than the rapper in some ways, because I think there's been so many movies made in LA, and if they're not literally set in LA or Southern California, I associate the movie with it because I know where it was
Yeah,
filmed, or I just like I
yeah,
could relate to it. Whoa, that's such a hard one. I mean, if just real raw gut
sure.
reactions, um, White Men Can't Jump
Yeah.
initially comes to mind, just because I literally grew up like playing on those basketball courts, like in Venice that are featured there. Um, that's a great LA movie. Not because it's a dark and really sad movie. American History X is a great movie,
Mm-hmm.
but that's also that takes place in LA. Man, there's so many good ones. Wow. Collateral, the movie where
Ooh,
Tom Cruise is like a hitman and Jamie Foxx
Jamie Foxx. Yeah.
drive him around as a cab driver. That takes place in LA. Another one that really, really resonates for me is the movie Drive, with Ryan Gosling. I don't know about best movie of all time, but when I was at college with you in Ohio and we watched Drive, that made me incredibly homesick for LA,
Okay.
because driving at night through empty streets in LA is it's a vibe for sure, and that movie captured it. Chinatown, is one of the best movies like ever. It's an incredible movie. Not only does it take place in LA, that movie's about how LA really came to be and grow as a city because of how the water was rerouted, let's say. That's the nice way of putting it. Stolen is the real way, from other communities, and basically piped into the desert of Southern California to make Los Angeles viable as a city. Um, Great movie. A dark movie as well, but great movie. Made by a very troubled, conflicted and much maligned director, Roman Polanski, who's a bad person outside of his directorial stuff. Anyway, there's so many great movies
Yeah.
about Los Angeles. I think that was 4 or 5 I just listed right there.
Yeah.
There are probably 50. I mean, you could do so many movies about LA.
So
Yeah,
as a non-LA person, my list is very different.
please hit me.
I would probably go The Wood, the
Yeah, The
movie about
Wood, great
Inglewood.
movie. Great movie.
Training Day for sure.
Training Day, of course. Boys in the
Lo
Hood. Boys in the Hood's a big LA
Yep,
movie. Sorry to
yep.
cut you off, but
No, you're good. But Boys in the Hood was coming. Boys in the
yeah,
Hood,
yeah,
Love and Basketball,
yeah,
and then probably Don't Be a Menace to Society or
sure.
Menace to Society.
Yeah, I know what you meant.
Those would probably be my 5 favorite like LA movies. The Wood, maybe
The Wood's
number
a
1.
great
I used
movie.
to love The Wood.
I
That
know,
was
I
a big
remember
one.
we watched it in college together.
Yeah,
Boys in the Hood, of all those ones you just listed, Boys in the Hood is the one that, I watched the most, or was most familiar with as a kid, for sure.
yeah.
Um, all good, all valid though, right? Those are all definitely LA movies, like, for sure. Um we just did a reboot, Love and Basketball, obviously,
That's
which
right.
is a very LA movie. How about The Sandlot, by the way? Another movie we've done as a
Yeah,
reboot.
I guess that's
It takes place, and it's
sure.
actually, in some ways, it's a real LA movie because it's about the Valley. And it's for people who are really from LA, and a lot of people live in the Valley. So it's
Would you consider Angels in the Outfield they're in Anaheim though, right?
they are in Anaheim, and for anyone who's not from Southern California, sorry, Jordan's heard this about 1,000 times in his life, but the Angels are not from Los Angeles, right?
Yeah,
They play in Orange County. It's a different. LA County is, I think, the biggest county in the country, and the Angels are not in it.
yeah,
they're they're in another really huge county in Southern California, just south. I, as you know, Angels in the Outfield is one of my all-time favorite childhood movies. Like,
same.
me and Oscar, the guy I grew up with, we have a bond around that movie. But I wouldn't consider that an LA movie.
No, you're probably I would agree. That's not an
Training
LA
Training
that's a
Day.
California movie
It's
if
a
anything.
California movie for sure. In the same way that, like, Moneyball, which takes place in Oakland, is like
Yeah,
baseball movie for sure. Wouldn't call that like a California or an LA movie per se.
yeah.
But Training Day, which you pointed out, absolutely I would consider an
It's an
LA
LA movie for sure.
to the core, I would say. There's another one. Oh man, I'm totally blanking on the name of it. It was a Jake Gyllenhaal movie, and Michael Pena, I believe. They play cops.
Oh, they were cops. Yeah.
Kind of it's framed kind
I
of as like a student film that he's making or whatever, so it's
Yep.
very, very realistic feeling. That was a very LA feeling movie because that's about LAPD. All the set, the whole movie takes place in LA, kind of like Training Day. That was
You,
a pretty
you
good
know
movie.
what?
I kind of
You
like
know
that.
what LA movie you and I disagree on? Crash.
Oh, I hate that movie.
I love Crash. You were
Yeah,
you
I hate
were I remember you
I hate that
vehemently
movie.
I can't say that word. You know what I mean? You
Vehemently,
hated
yes, I
that
do
movie.
I mean, to be fair, I haven't seen Crash in a long time, like, no, like, over 10 years, like, a long time, so I can't speak on it, that
But you were not a
passionately,
fan.
but I didn't like how it's definitely an LA movie, to your
Yeah.
point. That would qualify for sure as an LA movie. It just it felt very, cut and dry and oversimplified to me of, like, everyone's racist in LA and, all these cultures exist, but no one really likes each other, and everyone kind of, right under the surface is just waiting to be, like, the worst version of themselves, and, like, I get it, it's a movie, there were great performances. I think that there were lots of positive things about it, but I came away from the movie just kind of like, like one of the only sympathetic characters we get in the movie is this like old racist cop, who has like prostate
Yeah.
cancer or whatever. The whole thing was just, yeah, I don't like that movie, but
Okay.
it's an LA movie. I'll give you that. I'll give you that for sure.
I I'll give you one honorable mention, and then I would love to hear your song of the week.
Sure, sure, sure.
Malibu's Most Wanted.
Oh man, I mean, it's
LA movie.
I guess technically an LA movie because
Jamie Kennedy, Taye Diggs, Anthony
Anthony
Anderson.
Anderson. Well, most of the movie doesn't take place in Malibu, right? It takes place in like South Central or whatever,
Yep.
token hood location
Yep.
in South LA they use. Um, if you're gonna
No,
say
that's it.
that though, I would also put like, like Clueless, which is like
Sure.
takes place at like Beverly Hills High. It was filmed at Beverly Hills High. I think they just own it and say that it is. That's like a pretty LA movie because like it doesn't really matter that they're in LA, but it kind of does because they're in
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a cool cultural hub of things. Honestly, would be a great list. Would be a great list to compile of like all time. LA Confidential. That's another great movie. Sorry, now they're
Yep.
just coming to me like randomly. Amazing Russell Crowe performance from back in the day. There's a lot. There's a lot of older movies that we're not listing that would be great for this. But that'd be a
That
fun
would be a
list to
fun
put
list.
together. And then we can also put together the Cleveland list, which will be shorter, but more impactful.
A Christmas movie
We might have to
or a
extend it
Christmas
to like
story.
Ohio, because then you get like
Yep.
Tommy Boy, which takes place in
I've never seen Tommy Boy.
is that right?
Never
Oh,
seen it.
that's probably my favorite Chris Farley movie, I would
Okay.
say. That takes place in Sandusky, Ohio. So there you go.
My favorite Cleveland movie would probably be Antoine. It's hard to call Antoine Fisher a Cleveland movie. It's a story about a guy from Cleveland, but I don't
Right,
know if I'd call that a Cleveland movie.
right, which is tough.
Favorite Cleveland movie. So, A Christmas Story, like, is the token one. Everyone
Sure,
in Cleveland loves A Christmas Story.
sure.
Average movie, if you ask me, but whatever. Like, I know I'm missing one, man. There's one that I'm not thinking of off the top of my head. I mean, if you want to go like Draft Day, you know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
my
that's
god.
a great one.
Just stupid all the way to draft day? I don't think so.
Oh, that's a fantastic. What was Von? What was his name? Von Mac.
Oh,
Something
man.
Mac. Something Mac. No matter what
Yeah.
was what
Well,
was
I'm
written on the
blanking on
thing.
his name too.
I can't remember, but every year on draft day, I tweet that whatever the dude's name was that Chadwick played, something Mac.
It was like Devontae Mack, I think.
Yeah, it was something like that. But yeah, that's a Cleveland movie. I know there's one that I'm blanking on.
Well, there's a couple. I'm cheating, and I looked it up here on the internet. The obvious one for me would be Major League, right? You have
Yes, yeah, Major League's big for
Major
sure.
League, which not filmed in Cleveland.
Vontae Mack, by the way, Vontae Mack, no matter
Not
what.
Devontae, just
Yeah,
Vontae.
Vontae Mack, no
Mack,
matter what.
correct.
Continue though.
No, no, no.
Major
I
League.
was just saying for me, Major League is probably the one that comes to mind of all the ones that I'm looking up here. Antoine Fisher is also listed highly here because
Yeah.
it's set in Cleveland. Draft Day is also listed here. That's brutal. Draft Day can't be that
Jackass is a great movie, bro.
Major League and Antoine Fisher would be my choices.
Yeah.
But hey, listen, that's also a good, challenge extended to young filmmakers out there. The great Cleveland
Come
movie
on.
is yet to be made, so let's go make.
Ooh, The Soloist was good.
Oh,
The
LA movie
Jamie
you're
Foxx
talking about?
and
Yes, and
I
Robert
forget,
Downey
and
Jr.
yeah, Downey Jr. That was a
Yeah.
good one.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a couple good ones.
that was an amazing story. That was based on a true story.
Yep.
The guy who Robert Downey Jr. plays, Steve Lopez, was a writer for the LA Times for a long time. Um, all right. Well, that was a great prompt as always, Jordan. You know how to get us talking about interesting stuff. My song of the week this week is not LA related.
Okay.
But it is, as always, kind of a nostalgic piece for me because I often find myself coming back to those types of songs, as I've talked about many times before. Um, and this week I'm focused on an artist who I really enjoy. This song and album have been kind of like rocks in my life. Like when I've had difficult times in my life for one thing or another over the course of the years, just living life. This album always helps me feel grounded and um, emotional, like in a good way. And the album is called Pushing Against the Stone by the artist Valerie June. Uh, Kind of, from my traditional era and song of the week, came out in 2013, which, Jordan, was when we graduated college.
Graduated.
That
Yep.
that that was when we were just kind of getting out of college and into real life, as it were. And the song, there's a lot of great songs on this album. Another one, like I've mentioned in other songs of the week, a good example of like awesome runs of song where there's like 2, 3, 4 songs on this album where the stretch is just really, really compelling and interesting. But my favorite song probably on the album that I always come back to is called Somebody to Love. Um, it's really slow. It's mostly just her singing with kind of a choir background or like background vocalists. Jordan, again, I'm a sucker for gospel music, for choirs, for the power of the human voice.
Yep.
Um, and this is just a truly beautiful song, which is like a lot of beautiful songs, kind of there's a big twinge of sadness and pain involved in it, and the fact that um the world is hard and we all need somebody and people to reach out to, and even when it feels desperate, being that person is special. There's something special, there's magic there. um and it's just captured beautifully, and she has a really unique voice that is kind of blends like an indie rocker, but with this true Southern influence, and it kind of blends really, really beautifully. And she's a really amazing, talented artist across the board. But this album is one that I always come back to. So check it out if you've heard of Valerie June but never listened to the album. Definitely worth a listen. And if you've never heard of Valerie June, I think Somebody to Love is a great place to start to get introduced to her catalog. So song of the week, Somebody to Love by Valerie June off Pushing Against the Stone.
Love it. Another song that I'm not familiar with. So
It's a
you
good one.
are, as always, adding to my catalog, which we often do to each other.
Yeah.
So I love that. Good pick, man. Good
Nice.
pick. So I went this week with an artist that I probably picked up on him like 2 weeks ago on one of my long walks, like just kind of walking around the neighborhood, putting Spotify on DJ mode and just rolling. And I came across this song by an artist named Boy Soda. Um, and the song is Hit the Road off of his album Soul Star that came out this year. And so Boy Soda is an Australian singer and songwriter. Very, very very clever with the lyrics. I kind of love the instrumental arrangements on his songs, like all of the different chords and drums and whatever else he's kind of throwing in there. And then he has this like really good voice, like he's a good kind of like singer rapper. And he's got a clever like flow that's like really fun to listen to. Like he just, when you put on his music, you're having a good time. I wrote down like he reminds me of like Anderson .Paak, but also mixed with a little bit of a Masigo, if you're familiar with Masigo. And so it's just a fun song. It's a fun album. Like I said, the album is called Soul Star. And the song that I love off that album so far is Hit the Road. So that's going to be my song of the week. Boy Soda, Hit the Road.
Hey, shout out. I know from my days working in rugby, I think we have a couple of subscribers in Australia. So
Okay.
always good to shout out the Aussies and
Yeah.
Boy Soda is a cool name to begin
Right?
with. And that's a song I'm not familiar with, and an artist I'm not familiar with. So excited to check it out and expand my musical horizons as well, man. That's what Song of the Week is all about.
That's what song of the exactly. That is what song of the week is all about.
Yeah,
So
man.
lovely, man. Well, look, we got to go to dinner. I think we're getting Japanese food tonight.
Yes, sir. We're gonna be doing a little hibachi situation tonight. It's gonna be good.
Ooh,
And we're
me going
and
out for
whoever
some
else.
little
That's right. If you
for
want
a
to,
little Japanese.
if you're gonna be in the West LA region tonight, come holler at.
Hit us up. Hit us up. I may maybe I'll hop on Tinder here when we get off the call and see who I can get in the mix.
Me and Sophia will wingman for you tonight for sure.
That's all I need, bro. That's all I need.
You got it, brother. Well, good
All
stuff,
right.
man, as always.
Well, until next time, this is Song of the Week from LA. David and Jordan, we're out of here. We'll see y'all.
Peace.
Peace.